I'm Tommy Phillips, and we're going to try you one called Old Joe Park.
Telling the story of New River without coal would be like telling the story of Detroit without the automobile. Since the early to mid-1900s, coal has been king in this region of Tennessee. For a long time, it had been well known that this area had a tremendous wealth of natural resources. Harvesting this wealth, however, was extremely difficult due to the rugged terrain and lack of navigable rivers. So until the train arrived in 1913, New River remained an isolated region deep within the Cumberland Mountains of Tennessee. Some of the same families that were in New River prior to the arrival of the train still remain in the community today or still come back weekly to visit or worship there. This documentary is dedicated to those families and the fascinating lives they have lived and still live in the coal mining communities of New River.
There used to be 92 houses here.
92 houses in this.
It belonged to the coal company at that time.
Did your father work for the coal mines
Yes.
all his life?
No. He worked. Part of his life with the coal company and part of it he works in the timber woods. Of course, that was for the coal company too, but that same coal company used to be down on Rogers Fork. They come up here and started. Then Fort Mountain Coal Company bought them out. He's back in the early 20s, I guess.
What was your main job for most of the time?
Well, I run a motor and run a drum up there, run the coal off the mountain.
And there were manned cars that went up to the...
Went up and down the mountain, the incline, they called it.
Was everybody paid by the amount of coal?
Yeah.
They just at the end of the day weigh what you had done, or?
They weighed it as they dumped it in the tip. They paid so much a ton for the coal.
Now the tipple, where was that located?
It was up at the mines, top. When they weighed it, they dumped it in a tipple up there and then run it from there down to this next other tipple down here.
When all the houses were back here, did they just pay a certain amount
Yeah,
for rent
so
every
much
month?
each month, yes.
Was it usually pretty reasonable, or?
Well, yeah. I think you paid about $12 a month, and you got the juice was furnished. You didn't have to pay for the electricity.
So that was electricity and water was free.
Yeah.
Did they all look pretty much the same?
It's all pretty well the same, built on the same style. Yeah. Some of them is 5 rooms, some 4, some 3, and some 2.
Coal company houses like Archie and Dorothy Arms's were at one time scattered all around this narrow hollow and up and down Highway 116. When driving down this highway today, in the fall or winter, after the leaves have fallen, or in the spring when the foliage has not reached its full potential, you can see the old coal tipple that once was an important structure in this area. The tipple was strategically located at the far end of the valley so it could serve as a filling station for the early steam trains. The trains could either refuel as they entered the area or as they were leaving this mountainous region for their journey home. The tipple was designed where the coal could be stored in the top and released into the train's box as it drove underneath. Here you can see the booming Fort Mountain coal camp in the late 1930s. Another structure that is remnant of Fort Mountain coal camp is the picturesque Fort Mountain Baptist Church. This church was built by the coal miners of Fort Mountain, who donated part of their paychecks each month to help fund the building. Fort Mountain wasn't the only deep mine operation and camp in the area. There was also Clinchmore, Moores, and Rosedale, to name a few.
Simple reason I write about the people and the times in which they lived around this area, because I wanted to capture that in story songs. So after everybody's gone, even myself, those songs will live on, you know. And I've got a very strong passion for these people since I was reared over here, you know, and been raised around them and everything. And that's what I write about. I write about true stories for the most part, and about the coal miners and the mountain people. I wrote that about my daddy and grandpa and everybody that worked in the coal mines. If you worked in the mines, at times in your life you did have the coal miners blues. I can do that for you. Are you ready? I got the coal miners blues, I keep them all day long. Got the coal miners blues, I keep them all day long. At the end of the day, I'll sing a lonesome song. Well, I make my living 3 miles underground. Make my living 3 miles underground. Where the timbers squeak, can't you hear that deadly sound? I got the coal miners blues, I keep them all day long, 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 long. I got the coal miners blues, I keep them all day long. At the end of the day, I'll sing a lonesome song.
Albert Phillips was born on this mountain, and this is where he spent the first part of his life. He has very fond memories of this special place, and he likes to come and visit Cordus Burgess' cabin and recall what he calls the good old days. When you were born up here, was it a pretty populated area, or?
Yeah, it was pretty much, heavy populated, just about his houses all on the hillsides up here.
Mm-hmm.
I know I could go ahead and count, I guess, about 10, 12, 15.
And about how far is it to get back up to where we are up on the
It's-
mountain?
It's a good 2 miles, straight off, a good 2 miles.
Straight up, isn't it?
Straight up. I walked it before. It's a long, long way, long walk.
Well, now, you had to walk it when you were younger because there wasn't any roads like the one we took up to get here today. It's just all dirt paths.
Yeah, it's just a path wide enough, you could maybe just walk up, and you have to watch for snakes, as you came up, because you got off the path, you would see some snakes.
Your father was a coal miner.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Where was the main place that he worked?
He worked, it was Clenchmore's at the time. They called it Clenchmore, but it's Stony for it now. It ran about, I think he walked about 2 miles, to get to the, we'd catch the incline to go up the mountain on there. And when most of the time, through the winter time, he walked back, he walked back in deep snow, maybe up to your knees.
What time did he leave for work?
He left at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Gosh. And got back around?
He'd get back sometime before dark.
He was paid with coal script?
Right. He had money also, he saved up money, traded for script, this and that. I traded the script for money. I got a little backwards.
Do you feel like the mine that he worked for pretty good to everybody? Clenchmore was, pretty fair on pay and hours and things like that.
Yeah, he was, very satisfied with the pay, He was a hard worker. He spent 37 years, in those mines. And he was a hard worker. He was satisfied, what they paid him. He never said a word about his pay. He worked 50 cents a day if he had to. He started out with me. I never went in the mines unless he went, to show me, And we would they call it punch mining, I guess I'm punch mining, just go back so far, as far as you go. And we'd make us a wood track, have a wood track. And we'd push the car back and we'd load it with coal and we'd push it out. We'd get the mule and we'd take the mule and we'd take it where you want to take it, up it into the coal trucks. And we also we went from that to the, went from that to the mule mines, and the mule would pull it out. You cut the rock with the mule, get back in there, and we'd take the cars and push them out, and the mule would go.
Was that area you showed me on the way in? Was that?
That's a mule mine.
Mule mining area.
Now over on the Bootjack, we kind of changed to the more of a conventional mining. We would have scoops, and we would have roof bolters that would bolt the top, which is much safer, bolt the top.
What year was that?
That was, I think I worked that in 76, somewhere around 80, something like that, 1980.
Okay.
And we'd have cutting machines, miners. I worked, with all of them.
Would it be similar to this one we're getting ready to walk to?
Yeah, be about the same thing. Yeah, I had 3 openings right there. The old bank cars I made then, we used them. Pushing the coal out here, and we had a tipple right down there over the bank. We'd dump the coal and he'd go down that. We had a road going right around, blow it right in there. Come down there and load it back up.
By truck.
They wasn't supposed to buy Wildcat coal. We called it Wildcat coal.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Yeah. That's what they come up here and got on me over, called it Wildcat. See, when we first started out mining, you'd go just like I was doing here. You could just job you a little hole back in the ground, start to work. You didn't have to pull all them permits. Didn't have to be worried with that. But now they change the law so much on it that it's hard for anybody to mine. Even to big companies. Hard for them to mine.
So when it started, it was just families and individuals?
It's an old mining car where you used to use them to load them up full of coal, and we had to push them back outside.
Push them by hand?
Take about 2 to get behind them, push them out. Elmer, he's hoped to do that too. Me and him used to push them together.
Well, that's back-breaking work, isn't it?
Yeah.
How much would one weigh if it was completely full?
I'd say about a ton. You get a ton on them easy.
Is that how they, in the bigger mines, is that how they measured, what they measured it in would be a car like that?
Yeah. Put it in cars and call it a ton.
Oh, it breaks pretty good.
Let's break it up in small pieces.
You ever seen it?
Same. I'll set this out in here. I got it all out through you.
Do you have to wait until it's 5? Is it 3? That's when you generally get it.
Yeah, in the fall of the year when it turns yellow. And it have big red berries on it. Seeds itself back.
Oh,
Yeah.
hence the name bloodroot, right? What all can that be used for? Does it have any medicinal?
Use it. They use it for medicine and stuff.
Huh. Do you ever know of anybody that did anything with it, that made stuff?
Yeah, we used to dig it, pink root, yellow root, everything. Use it for colds and stuff. Your corn, drop it down in there. When it shells it out, gets it all shell, cob come back out right there. Yeah, enough shell corn on it.
And why is it they call him Keeper of the Mountain?
Well, I kind of named him that because he had a cabin up there around where his old home place originally stood, and he took care of everything and kept the graveyard up and everything, and he took care of people when they come through. He would talk with them and feed them and just had a good time. He liked to meet people, and that's how that name come about. I call him the Keeper of the Mountain. One day my wife and I were going to visit Cordis. We drove up the ridge there, and there he sat on the porch. I said to my wife, I said, Patsy, there's the Keeper of the Mountain. He's the keeper of the mountain, the home place of his birth. I know that God has put him there to help the strangers and do his work. He's the keeper of the mountain with a heart so good and true. If you stop and see the keeper, he'll be glad to see you too. Everyone who roams these mountains knows the keeper very well. He's always got a meal to feed them and a story he can tell. He's the keeper of the mountain with a heart so good and true. If you'll stop and see the keeper, he'll be glad to see you too.
I was born April the 9th, 1929,
Okay.
which makes me 77 years old.
And you were born on Red Oak Mountain, is that correct? In New River?
Red Oak Mountain, which they called it New River.
Was your dad a coal miner?
No, my daddy wasn't a coal miner. My husband was.
And what was his name, your husband's name?
Jasper Carroll.
And what was your dad's name?
Jim Phillips. Reverend Jim Phillips.
So he was one of the Phillipses of Red Oak Mountain.
Red Oak Mountain.
And so he was a